Hello, hello everyone. So, if you missed last night's Dancing with the Stars episode, here is a quick synopsis for you and my overall impression of the dancing and the marks. So, firstly, Mauricio was voted off. And similar to last week, he actually was far from last in the judges' marks. He actually placed sixth in the eyes of the judges for all the dancing last night. However, this goes to show on this program how important those people calling in voting matter in terms of callbacks. So I thought that was a little interesting. Definitely is not based on the dancing. So in first place, we have Sochi. Second place, Ariana. Third place, Jason. Fourth place, Charity. Fifth place, Lele. Sixth place, Mauricio. Bye, Mauricio. Seventh place, Barry. Eighth place, Allison. And bringing in the rear in terms of the judges' opinions, we have Harry Jousey. They did something totally different tonight than the previous episodes. They had a bonus round where they had all of the couples on the floor simultaneously doing the same style, competing against each other. So what I liked about this, it was similar, most similar to a real ballroom dance competition. Unless we're entering a solo or a show dance, 99% of the time we are out there with other couples. Of course, last night was a little different. They were each given a little square, I don't know, approximately 10 feet they had to stay on. In real life, we do cross and share that floor space. In real life, the competition regulation minimum floor size is 45 by 60 feet. Last night they were in small squares, but they also were given two stationary dances to do, so that totally works on a tiny little postage stamp like that. And certainly for their skill level, that makes it easier, because when you add floor craft and navigating around other couples, it does make it exponentially more difficult to manage your figures and your technique, leading and following well, shaping, all that good stuff. So I really did like that. The only thing that was a little strange to me that I've never seen in a real ballroom dance competition is they did a tap off, kind of like they did in the movie Grease, where they walked around the floor, and if they tap you, you're out. And if they don't tap you, you stay in. And then for every kind of round you made, you would get more bonus points. So I thought that was really interesting. And I liked it. I hope they do more of that. It was interesting. Okay. Similar to all of our other episodes this season, I was really non-surplused by seeing a lot of dances that you would never see in a real ballroom dance competition, okay? So again, we saw a contemporary number. This is crazy to me. I have never once seen that in a ballroom comp in my life. It was a little scary in that Sochi actually injured herself, and it was not clear while I was watching the dancing, and I rewatched a number of times to see if I could figure it out. She injured her knee, and it looked like pretty badly. She's a super talented gal, obviously very popular with viewers, so I sure hope she hasn't injured herself for this season. And this is another reason I think they should not include contemporary dance in Dancing with the Stars for these newcomers. I've done contemporary dance. It's not something I've done professionally, but as a professional dancer, I've taken many styles, especially growing up. And I would say of all the styles I've done, even more than the Latin, it was definitely much harder on my body. You're slamming on the ground with even with your kneecaps, parts of your body that are not meant to slam on the ground, throwing your weight around, shifting vector force. It's hard on your body. And so I would love to see less contemporary dance on this show. I really feel for her. And I feel badly for the pros too, because that is not a style they specialize in. I would love, when I compete with an amateur, to select the styles they do so they show best on the floor. My strong suspicion is that The network has a advertising relationship, kind of like ad placement. If you see a certain beer in a sitcom, I think that's what's going on with these record labels, and they're choosing these styles based on what kind of ad revenue they're getting. So it's what it is. It's entertaining though, and entertaining goes a long way. I also saw 3 Argentine tangos last night. You would see this in pro competition, but it is quite rare statistically. Very few people do it. I've never seen that in an open pro competition, and honestly, I have done social dance Argentine tango. I've taught some. It's not my jam. We have another pro in town I refer all the Argentine students to because they are amazing. Anyway, that community is a sub-community in itself. They usually only do Argentine tango. And really fascinating to me, that Argentine community prides itself, certainly in the Pacific Northwest of the United States where I live, so maybe it's different where you live, but they strongly are like anti-competition and pride themselves in, well, we don't compete in our community, we're better than you because we don't have this competitive culture. For the record, ballroom is largely a social culture. The minority of people compete, but we do absolutely have that competitive element, which, as you know, I love, highly encourage it, but that would not be consistent with Argentine tango. Don't know why they are pushing Argentine tango so strong this season. And then they played 3 pasos. Now, this is a real competitive dance in Latin, but every time the music was too fast, and they played a jive as well, which is a legit Latin ballroom dance, competitive dance, but they played the music too fast. Even a pro would have a difficult time showing these dances well. They are designed in terms of physics to do at a certain tempo. So again, I blame this on producers picking the songs, not the pros. And I suspect they're doing this in exchange for advertising dollars. And you know what? If that keeps the show on the air, hey, fair trade, because I love the exposure this brings to ballroom dancing, and I would hope it would bring more people into it. Okay, so here's the most interesting tidbits to me from last night. Number 1, Mauricio, who was voted off with his partner Emma. Trashy mags today, I noticed, all full of hot gossip about them dating, personally having a romantic relationship, not just a dance relationship, after being caught by paparazzi walking out of a sushi dinner place together holding hands. And I'm going to address that in a separate video, which I will share the link below. So interesting stuff going on there. And he's married, for the record. So, and number 2, Mauricio, which I thought was super fun because it was Halloween night, in his kind of backstage interview before their actual showpiece, shared a personal ghost story he experienced in Michael Jackson's mansion, which I kind of thought that was entertaining. So I'm just curious, do you believe in ghosts? And if so, what part of the country or world are you from? Because I'm sure there are very different opinions depending on where you come from. Okay, next interesting point. Harry. I still feel he is the least talented of the bunch, and my heart does go out to him because I love his attitude. I love that he goes out there, has a smile on his face, gives 100%, and for his natural aptitude is doing great. And anyway, I felt so bad for him when he said he felt humiliated and attacked online by people for his lack of dance skill. And you know what? This is a reality of being a competitor. If you compete and some local amateur couple or local pro is throwing shade at you, ignore. You just be the best you that you can be. And as I've shared in previous videos, you will lose your way all the way to the top. So I do feel bad for him in that respect, particularly if it's just random people who have never danced a day in their life criticizing him, and they have no ground to do that. You know what? Props to him for improving as much as he has in such a short period of time, as all the competitors have on this show. I have great respect for all of these people, including Harry, even though I'm the first to recognize talent is unfortunately not on his side. Okay, next up. I've noticed overall this season, compared to previous seasons, the network is heavily investing in theatrical cosmetics. For example, in this episode, they had, most of the people, I think, had like crazy colored contacts, which looked very cool. Crazy, like professional cosmetics that looked like they came out of a horror movie. Very dramatic sets, lighting, backdrop, heavy investments there, and I'll call it production value. And I actually appreciate that because it's easier to make that look exciting and make the dancing look exciting than it is to make someone look incredible who's only been dancing, you know, a couple months. So I'm glad they're doing this, and it makes it visually appealing to watch. I'm all for that. Okay. Next tidbit, in my opinion, Jason is the most talented, followed closely by Charity and Ariana. So it'll be interesting to see. I suspect one of these three is going to win just based on the people calling in. Next up, Charity and Ariana, props to them because they had the most recognizable real figures in their routines last night. I love real dancing, not just hitting pictures and smiling and posing. So great respect to them for doing that, and shout out to their pros for making that magic happen. Because honestly, it is more difficult to teach someone how to dance beautifully than it is to do flash and trash. Okay, next up, I have noticed each episode I am incredibly impressed with Barry's agility and flexibility in his upper back, his strength for his age. So I'm loving seeing someone in their 70s rock that floor. I love that. Okay. And like most of the performances this week, you know, poor Barry was just given a horrible tempo song. So it is what it is. He had a Viennese waltz. It was too fast. The only figure I recognized in there were like open naturals, which I literally counted for 4 seconds of their routine. But it's not Barry's fault. It's not Peta's fault. It's that they played the music way too fast to dance well to, even if you were a trained championship level professional dancer. I so wish they would let the pros pick the songs and the tempo, or at least the style, because I do think the dancing would be a lot stronger. But I am glad this show's on the air, and I cannot wait to see next week and see who gets voted off. And I'll be the first here to share with you what stands out to me and who gets first place, second place, and sadly who will say goodbye to next time. So I hope you found that to be interesting. Let me know below about your opinion on ghosts, where you're from, and who you're hoping to win, and who you think is going to be next voted off. Bye guys, see you tomorrow.